Hello, immigrants. Here's the true story of Thanksgiving. I speak with respect for Native nations of southern Massachusetts and parts of Rhode Island, where this history took place in the 1600s. I named the Wampanoag because their history is the ground under the story the United States turned into Thanksgiving. The truth is simple. The United States of America hit this record for centuries. Before 1621, before any stage feast, European ships reached New England with purpose. They carried disease that tore through indigenous nations from 1616 to 1619. Up to 90% of native people in the region died. Wampanoag villages collapsed. Homes fell silent. Families were wiped out. Food stores set untouched. When English colonists arrived, they walked into devastated homelands and took whatever they wanted. They did not step onto empty land. They stepped onto land empty by catastrophe. In 1620, the Mayflower arrived with 102 passengers. Within 3 months, almost half of them died from disease. I don't remember learning this in elementary school. The Wampanoag fought to survive. Their population had fallen. Their political power was strained. Their rivals, including the Narragansetts, suffered fewer losses. Survival faced a choice. They needed protection against stronger native enemies and the growing wave of Europeans. In the autumn of 1621, this is where the story of the Pilgrims come into place. About 50 English colonists and at least 90 Wampanoag gathered near present-day Plymouth. They supposedly kumbaya. They did not. This happened between September 21st and November 11th. It was not a holiday, and no one called it Thanksgiving. It was a political negotiation. Osamakian, the great leader, formed an alliance with the English to protect his nation. The English needed Wampanoag knowledge, resources, and defense. Both sides acted from necessity. Later, storytellers removed the fear, the conflict, the strategy. They built a fantasy to make colonization look peaceful. It was not. To understand the real record, you must remove more lies. In the 17th century, colonial dates of Thanksgiving were not celebrations of harmony. Some mark harvest, others mark victories. Some mark the killing of native people. In 1637, during the Pequot War, English soldiers and native allies surrounded the Pequot village near Mystic River. They set it on fire. They shot people as they fled. And between 400 and 700 Pequot men, women, and children were massacred. Afterwards, colonial leaders declared a day of Thanksgiving for the murders, for the genocide. It was not a feast. Colonists held several of these days in later decades. Many honored victories in violent conflicts with indigenous nations, thanking God for genocide. What later storytellers frame as a simple celebration followed a year of illness, shortages, and death. The records confirm it. Look it up. From the 1620s to the 1670s, the English expanded across Wampanoag land. They stole fields Wampanoag families farmed for generations. They labeled native agriculture inferior to excuse theft. They pushed conversion to Christianity. They imposed colonial courts over native laws. They treated Wampanoag government as illegitimate. By the 1670s, native nations reached a breaking point. Metacom, called King Philip by the English, stepped forward because his people faced constant pressure. He gathered the Wampanoag, Narragansett, and Nipmuc, and others because unity offered the only path to survival. He watched the colony swallow land and power without restraint. In 1675, he chose war because colonists ignored every limit. The conflict from 1675 to 1676 became one of the deadliest in early North American when measured by population. About 3,500 people died. English towns burned. Indigenous communities suffered far worse. Entire villages were destroyed. Thousands were enslaved. Many shipped to the Caribbean. Others were forced into servitude for years or for life. Leaders were executed. Children were taken. Families were shattered. The destruction stripped land. It crushed political system. It forced cultural suppression. It unleashed mass enslavement. Wampanoag leaders today call this genocide. The record supports this truth. The idea of a national holiday came 2 centuries later. A white woman, Josiah Howe, pushed for a unified American Thanksgiving. In 1863, President Abraham Lincoln declared a national holiday during the Civil War. The country then rewrote the past to support the holiday. It tied the celebration to the false version of 1621 that I just mentioned. It erased epidemics, it erased massacres, it erased land theft, it erased King Philip's War, it erased genocide to build a myth of harmony that they taught us in elementary school, the Pilgrims and the Native Americans. To speak truth about Thanksgiving is to speak about epidemic destruction. It is to speak about invasion. It is to speak about forced alliance and massacres marked with Thanksgiving proclamation. It is to speak about land theft, war, and enslavement. It is to speak about a nation that built a holiday by bearing the record, by bearing the truth, by lying to us. And it is to speak about native voices that refuse silence. The Wampanoag, their story is not optional. It's central to what the United States turned into Thanksgiving. The real timelines include disease from 1660 to 1619, a pressure alliance in 1621, genocide in 1637, war from 1675 to 1676, mass enslavement across the region, and survival. The Wampanoag are still here. The Pequot are still here. The Narragansett are still here. Their nations speak. The scholars speak. I speak. Their communities and their culture are still alive after centuries of violence. If this country teaches Thanksgiving, it must teach the truth, and you need to know the truth. Please enjoy your turkey. And by the way, turkey originated in central and southern Mexico. Please enjoy it, be thankful, and remember this National Day of Mourning. Go to my YouTube channel and subscribe at Dr.CrownedOne and hear the truth for yourself. DrCrownedOne. I'm your reliable source.